I'm not even doing an intro today, Grant. I'm not doing it because I'm pissed off. Quite frankly, I'm pissed off. Knicks fans out here claiming the Pope. They've claimed the freaking Pope, Grant. What's up with that?
What do you mean? Okay, I'm not going to let you do this. I know you're upset. He got a Villanova degree. The Knicks are the Villanova boys. They're up 2-0 in the series. There's clearly some divine intervention going on. I am running with this. I'm going to let them claim the Pope.
There's no divine intervention. Jayson Tatum is going to ruin that come game 3 at MSG on Saturday. Big stage for the Boston Celtics. They'll be fine.
Jayson Tatum seems content ruining the Celtics season, not the Knicks.
So I was listening to Ryan Russillo's podcast the other day, and he was talking about the most hated players in the NBA and why people are so hated. Like, whether it's a press conference, we're going to talk about Draymond a little bit later, obviously. And Draymond is hated for a reason. He's doing flying elbows on the basketball court. Jayson Tatum has literally given the people no reason to hate him. He's a good father. He's a good family man, got mom on the court all the time. He doesn't talk bad in the media. He doesn't turn on other players. He takes responsibility for his actions, which he has done throughout this entire series. He says, I need to play better. And we still hate on him. It makes no sense.
Okay, cool. You're right. Sucks to suck. Sorry, Tatum. Don't change this. Do not change the topic here. We are here to talk about the Celtics completely collapsing in back-to-back games. Historic collapses, 20-point second half leads, and they're 0-2 in this series. Don't change this. Don't change this to be about, oh, Tatum is getting bullied. We need to defend him. Oh, the odds makers still have the Celtics favored. Don't change the story here. Don't change the story. The story is the Celtics are collapsing. They're a bunch of spineless cowards. They can't stand up to when they're getting hit in the face, and we are watching it happen right on live TV.
Exactly. The Celtics are still favored. The Celtics have given the Knicks everything.
Here's the thing. What happens when the Knicks actually start to make their shots? Like, I'm not going to disagree with you. The Knicks have run through the door that the Celtics have opened for them. But Jalen Brunson's not shooting well. The Knicks are not shooting well. What happens when that changes? The Knicks are not playing great, and they're up 2-0 in this series.
Neither are the Celtics, though. The Celtics have literally had the worst possible performance from 3 imaginable. It can't get worse than that. I think they missed 48 open threes. It's never going to happen. That's not going to happen again. So if they turn that around, the Knicks can start shooting well. It doesn't matter. The Knicks have played the game that they've needed to play to win. The Knicks are not going to outshoot the Celtics. It's just not going to happen.
I agree with you, but I'm tired. I want some accountability here. Talk about the Celtics being a bunch of it. Joe Mazzulla not using his timeouts. Tatum. How about that corner 3 from Tatum with like 3 minutes left when they're up 7? Jalen Brunson is literally on the ground playing a game of Twister. Jayson Tatum has a wide open dunk and he just shoots the 3 instead and he misses. The Celtics scoring 6 points in the final 9 minutes of the game. When are we going to talk about that?
We're going to talk about that in a minute. Before we need to talk about WSN.com, the ultimate place for your sports betting content and information. Grant, you writing the Celtics preview for tomorrow?
No, I'm not. Not on that one.
Okay. Well, we'll give out picks in a little bit, but Grant would be taking the Boston Celtics -5. I guarantee it on Saturday because it's going to be a massacre in the Garden. That's going to be a really fun atmosphere. I can't wait for that. But make sure you check out that preview, whoever is writing it. Also, baseball previews, everything's on there. Promo code, sports betting content, you name it, it's on WSN.com. And subscribe to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. That is Ride the Line. This show, smash it down low. Bang. Just like the Celtics got to get down low in the paint, muck it up a little bit. Here's the thing,
I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch a single second of live action in game 2. I texted you this, told you I was at a concert. I got down there. I was actually at the Virginia Tech Metallica Pantera concert. It was awesome. I'm sure you've seen the clips on Twitter. I've been to rap concerts. I've been to R&B concerts. Had never been to a metal show. I'm not going to say like I walk around listening to metal all the time, but that's the best concert I've ever been to. Like, seriously, it was awesome. I wish everybody out there could have been there. And especially as a Hokie, you could tell that Metallica really appreciated performing inside Lane Stadium because like, Metallica's been, they've never visited Virginia Tech, but they've been so closely aligned with Virginia Tech as Enter Sandman and all that. It was awesome. Point I'm making is it was great. It's a 4-hour drive down there from where I'm at. So I get down there, concert's about to start, load up the score. Signal's not great. Takes a few minutes for my phone to load. I see the Celtics are up 16 points in the third quarter. I'd written the preview for WSN, which unfortunately I'd written the preview, take Celtics -10. I'm like, all right, we're in great shape. This is what we expected to happen. Concert ends, drive home, get home at 3:30 in the morning. Got to be up at 7 a.m. the next day. Look at my phone to check the score, and I see the Knicks won. And like, it's 3:30. I've literally have not slept in like 24 hours. There's no way. And then I look at it. I'm looking at the box score. Knicks up 2-0. What? So I go back the next day. I look at the clips. I look at the highlights, and it's different from watching the game. I understand that. But I'm listening to people I respect, the Tim Leglers of the world, the Zach Lowe's of the world. I'm listening to them break down the game. I'm looking at the clips on NBA.com. And Tanner, it just seems like more of the same. The Celtics, they continue to find ways to put themselves in these leads. And this is why I think it's okay to say that the Celtics are the best team in the league, because they get leads better than anybody else. They do that part better than anybody in basketball. But they have such an aversion to holding on to these leads whenever they're presented with any sort of adversity. And for that to be coming in this series, I'm not taking away their title at all last year. Don't get me wrong. But we do have to put it in the context of, in the first round, Jimmy Butler was hurt. In the second round, Donovan Mitchell was hurt. In the third round, Tyrese Halliburton was hurt. Now, they dominated Luka and the Mavericks in the finals. That's great. But I think it's important to show that when they face real adversity, it comes back to bite them. They almost blew that 3-0 lead against the Heat. Remember that? They had to go back to Game 7 in Boston. They're now down 2-0 to a Knicks team that was outplayed by the Detroit Pistons. And that was 0-10 against the best teams in the league. So I truly don't know what it is. In situations like this, you could say it's a coaching thing. I don't think it's a coaching thing. I think Joe Mazzulla is great. But to go back to what you were saying about why does Jayson Tatum get so much hate, it's because the Celtics are a team of front runners, and people don't like front runners. They're great when they're winning. When there's any sort of adversity, that's where all the questions start to rise.
They've always hated Jayson Tatum, though, and I'm watching that last play back. Could have hit like nice little step back three right at the foul line. Like that would have been or it's not step back three, a step back jumper right at the foul line. That was probably the shot he needed to take there with the game on line. Anyways, you shouldn't even been in that situation. Like Jaylen Brunson's been great down the stretch. It was more in game two watching it was like the Celtics really gave this one up. Game one, Jaylen Brunson did take over in those final minutes. Game two, it was like the Celtics just didn't make plays. I look at how the series has gone so far, and I think the reason they blow these leads is because they don't change their play style. Like they are going for the jugular the entire game. And that might not be the best decision. Like they're going to play fast. They're going to shoot threes. They're not going to slow down. They want to keep their foot on the gas. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's like you live by the sword, you die by the sword. At least you got a sword though. Like that's kind of where they're at. If they're going to miss these shots down the stretch, these games are going to get tight because we've seen it across every game in the playoffs. Like 20-point leads can be cut. You shouldn't lose two of them, but they can be cut in the NBA. Especially if you're not making shots, and how the Celtics play, it has allowed the Knicks to get back in games because they've gone ice cold down the stretch. With that being said, I do think we still have a series here. Like the 2-0 comeback is not really a thing in the NBA. It's only happened 7% of the time. These are the situations where it has the opportunity to happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but the Celtics only lost back-to-back games 3 times this season. They're better than the Knicks. That is clear watching these games. If they can keep a lead, there's no reason they can't win the series. Keeping the lead is going to be tough. They got to start making their shots. But eventually, when the shot starts falling, they're going to be in good shape. Now it has to be game 3. Like you can't wait till game 4. If they start falling in game 3, though, I think we will see this series take a massive shift in how we feel about it.
Yeah, so I mean, I can still see the Celtics winning the series. You know, they're favored right now. Looking at FanDuel, they got the Celtics at -118, Knicks at -102. So close to a pick 'em, but the fact it's even like that when, like you said, 2-0 comebacks only happen 7% of the time, but we're looking at this as a 50-50 series. It speaks to what we all feel. We all feel that the Celtics are a better team than the Knicks. They just haven't played like it in the fourth quarters, really. They've played like it for the first 2.5, first 3 quarters. They just have not closed the deal. Now, what I was saying to you before we started recording is Jalen Brunson and the Knicks can still play a lot better. Can the Celtics make more threes? Will they make more threes? Absolutely. Is Jalen Brunson going to shoot better than 35% from the field, average 23 points? Yeah, he absolutely will. So as the Celtics go up, I think it's reasonable to say the Knicks are also going to go up. And now the question just becomes which team is going to lean into their potential more than the other?
Celtics. I mean, like, I think they passed up too many threes, honestly. There were moments where they had good looks in game 2. They just didn't take them. And I think that was representative of what happened in game 1. They were more trying to get to the hoop. You saw it in how Tatum played. Like, he was trying to drive as much as he could. Knicks played great defense, but he still tried a little bit more. I do think Joe Mazzulla should have taken a timeout, but he liked the play call. So be it. Like, I'm good with that. You know, like, if you trust in your best player with the ball with 12 seconds and you don't need a timeout, go for it. Let it rip. Because the game shouldn't have been in that situation. Like, we can't blame Joe Mazzulla for the players not making shots early in the game or in the fourth quarter. I mean, like, that's where, you know, Mazzulla was getting a lot of crap from Boston media, as he should. I mean, you blow 220-point leads, like, it has to fall on somebody, but the players got to go out and make shots. More than just Jayson Tatum's got to go out and make shots. We're capable all across the board. We can play through Sam Hauser, even though he's hurt right now. We can play through Peyton Pritchard. We can play through Kristaps when he's healthy, and this virus thing's wild to me too. We can play through these other guys. It doesn't just have to be Jayson Tatum. Jaylen Brown's got to step up. Whole team's got to be better. And I think knowing how this team is, knowing the championship DNA that they do have, I think 3 days off was perfect. You know, you're not at home anymore. You've been a great road team. You have every opportunity to go out and win this series. And if I'm the Boston Celtics, I'm embracing this. Like, you're down 2-0 going on the road to the world's most famous arena in a place that's going to be one of the most hostile crowds you've ever played in front of this year, and you got a chance to quiet them. Like, and if they do that, the confidence that they can build from a game 3 win, it's going to be massive.
Yeah, this is the first time in a year and a half where the Celtics are really going to be able to look at themselves as underdogs. Now, I hear what you're saying. It's good to be able to do that. Like, nobody believes in us. We're on the road. We're losing in this series. You can play that card. I don't know that the Celtics have the players who would receive that card well. If it was Jimmy Butler, I would be like, okay, this is perfect. This is exactly what he wants, the underdog. I don't know that Jayson Tatum is going to that's going to bring the dog out of him. Jaylen Brown, maybe. Derek White, maybe. But like, it needs to be Tatum. Tatum's the best player. And I just don't know that he's somebody who really cares all that much. You know, kind of to what you were saying about, he takes accountability for when he messes up. He's a family man. He's all this. He doesn't get into controversy, blah, blah, blah. That makes you a great human being. It doesn't necessarily make you a great basketball player. The great basketball players are able to draw this energy and aggression from all these different sources whenever they need it. Luka, you know, talks shit to fans and he gets the fans to fire him up. Tatum doesn't do that. He's just kind of who he is. So I'm not necessarily expecting him to go on the road and think because he has this added pressure, that's going to change what we see out of him.
Tatum's a dog, Grant. Like,
he's not a dog. He's a dog. He's a great player. He's not a dog.
He's not a pit bull. He's not a pit bull.
He's a poodle.
There's a dog in there. You got to find it. There's moments where you see it with Tatum. When Tatum is on, he's one of the most fun basketball players to watch in the world. And if he is on Saturday, which I do think he is, his presser yesterday, he goes, I take responsibility for my actions. I have not been good enough. I need to be better, and I will be better on Saturday. I have no doubt the Celtics team is going to come out and play on fire on Saturday. I have no doubt. Can they hold a lead? I don't know. I can't speak to that because they've blown 2. I think you're going to come out and see a massive explosion early on in this game. I don't know if they're going to hold it down the stretch. I really don't. But it starts with Jayson Tatum. There is a dog in him. And don't think, like, these guys are professional athletes too. And you're like, I don't know if you care that much. They are going to be so juiced up to go play this game because now they've been listening to the media for 3 days. They've been in a situation where you're seeing Knicks fans act like assholes all over the place. They think they've won the series, Grant. They think they won the series. You don't think Boston, this Celtics team's getting juiced up over that? I'd be smelling blood if I was the Celtics because they're going into a place where everyone thinks they're already won.
I think some of the players are. I don't think Tatum is. I'm telling you, I think Tatum is who he is no matter what is happening.
Tatum's going to drop 35, 10 rebounds, and be great in the fourth quarter. That's who he is.
He is a great player. He might do all of that. My questions are not about I don't think he's incapable of doing that. My question is not what kind of player Tatum is. It's the opposite. It's I know exactly who Jayson Tatum is. And he's a player who's going to be the best player on his team that blows back-to-back 20-point half
You can't put that
second
on
half
Tatum
lead.
though. You can't put that all on Tatum.
Yes, I
It's
can.
everybody.
If that was if that was LeBron's team, if that was Steph Curry's team, if that was Luka's team, if it was Anthony Edwards' team, if it was Kawhi's team, Jokic's team, that's the story. With Tatum, because he is a good guy, he might get some more haters than he deserves for being corny, but he actually escapes criticism for these types of situations.
What are you talking about? Everyone's blaming Jayson Tatum. Everyone's blaming Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum has been like the center of the scrutiny the past 3 days.
It's not the headliner. It's not the headliner. The headliner is Anthony Edwards doing something or Steph Curry. When they get to the Celtics, like an hour into the show, that's when they talk.
They are leading with the Celtics right now. What are you talking about?
Everyone I'm sure Bill Simmons is.
Everybody's leading with the Celtics. Celtics Knicks has been the number one discussion. Like Knicks, it hasn't necessarily all been about Jayson Tatum, but like everyone's leading with the Celtics right now.
But that's my point. It's not about Jayson Tatum. If Jayson Tatum
they've been talking about
if Jayson Tatum was the best player in the world and all this other stuff, the headlines would be Tatum collapse or Tatum blow. It's not that.
Yes,
that's why
what are you talking about? We listen to different media then. Tatum Brown have been under a lot of scrutiny. Tatum and Brown have been under a ton of scrutiny. Also, I think with the Celtics too, it's the strength in numbers. Like the depth strength is critical for this team. Like it's about the team as well. It's about Mazzulla. It's about Tatum. Like you can pick on so many people. This isn't like LeBron's Lakers with Luka, where like you got two guys to pick on. You can pick on LeBron. You can pick on Luka. You know,
that's fair. That's a good point.
Like there's so many people to take blame. Mazzulla's a character. Like we don't know half the NBA coaches in the league. Like NBA coaches are not forward facing like college basketball coaches are, but Joe Mazzulla is. We can pick on Joe Mazzulla. You know, I mean, we can pick on Tatum. You can pick on whatever, Jaylen Brown. You can pick on Drew Holiday. Like I'm seeing people can pick on Peyton Pritchard. Like Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins are talking about Peyton Pritchard stepping up. Like what world is any team talking about Peyton Pritchard? You know, 6th man of the year. Like he shouldn't be coming up when you have Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but the strength of the Celtics is the number. So you can pick on a lot of people.
No, I get what you're saying there. That's a good point.
And
what I find the most interesting about this series is, and this is a point that has been made before, but I want to expand on it a little bit, is the Celtics were a team built to win the NBA Finals. The Knicks are a team that was built to beat the Celtics. You know, they were a good team last year. They were, you can blame injuries and having to play all these minutes, but they should have been in the conference finals last year. They make these offseason moves. They get the wing defenders.
You got to stop. Right? They blew a 2-0 lead last year.
They were up 2-0 against Indy in the second round. And like Julius Randle was hurt, Brunson got injured, and they were playing guys like 45 minutes a night. But so they know they got to guard Tatum and Brown. So let's get OG Anunoby and let's get Mikal Bridges. We're gonna trade for both of them. Okay, we need that MVP level scorer. It's Tatum over here. It's Brunson for us. Well, the Celtics have the ability to space the floor and play 5 out and shoot these threes. So Julius Randle, you're gone. We're bringing in Karl Anthony Towns. And like you need this utility guy, this great defender, unselfish Drew Holiday. This is Josh Hart for us. They were built again to mirror what the Celtics do and to be able to go at them. That, you know, they might be, let's just say they beat the Celtics. They're not in a great position to beat the other teams in the NBA the same way the Celtics are like out. They're equipped to beat everybody. But if I look back at recent history, the Houston Rockets in 2018 were specifically built to beat the Golden State Warriors. They were up 3-2 in the conference finals. Chris Paul pulls his hamstring and they end up blowing that series, but they were in the driver's seat and they could have won it last year. So the Denver Nuggets, really 2 years ago, they're built. It's a great team. They win the championship. Their general manager leaves that offseason. Tim Connolly goes to the Minnesota Timberwolves. He retools the Minnesota Timberwolves in a way specifically just to beat the Denver Nuggets. The double big lineup with Cat and Gobert, the defensive pieces. What happens? It's the same thing we're seeing here. The Timberwolves go up 2-0 in that series. The Nuggets actually win the next 3 games, but then the Timberwolves win the last 2 and they win that series. So in these recent instances in which a team has been specifically built to beat one team, one time it worked, the other time they're up 3-2 and a top 2 player on their team pulled his hamstring. So I don't know that we should be. It's still surprising. Like, don't get me wrong, but in that context, when you have a team who all year long, the Knicks have not thought about winning the finals. They've thought about beating the Boston Celtics. I get it's surprising. I don't think it should be shocking considering that this has been a method that has worked recently.
I think it's shocking in the sense of the Celtics dominated the Knicks this year. Knicks weren't super healthy at times, I don't believe, but I think when you look at how the series has gone so far, it's been Celtics get 20-point lead, Knicks take it back. Celtics have still gotten the 20-point lead. If the Celtics make shots, there is no series. If the Celtics score if Celtics don't go on a no scoring run in the fourth quarter, there is no series. Like that is where I'm at with it still. It's not like the Knicks have outplayed the Celtics from the jump. They've outplayed them down the stretch. That's very critical. It means everything to win in the fourth quarter and be great in the fourth quarter. With that being said, I think if you are the New York Knicks, it's less likely that you can take two more games being down 20 than the Celtics maintain that lead. That's kind of where I'm at. I mean,
I would agree with you. The team up 20 should win.
A team up 20 should win. So I don't believe the Knicks can get a 20-point lead. Knock on wood. The Celtics can get the 20-point lead. They just need to keep it. It wouldn't surprise me if they have a 20-point lead coming in game 3 at some point. I mean, look at game 1. This is the stat that tells it all. 45 uncontested threes. They took 63s. 45 of them were uncontested. They made 15.
Can I jump in? Those numbers are a little misleading.
They are a little misleading.
But second spectrum doesn't do a great job. Like if a shot's uncontested, it can be because I see this guy sprinting at me on a closeout, so I'm going to get it up as quickly as I can. It's not always. It's not apples and apples.
Bottom line is you got one of the best three-point shooting teams out there that lives and dies by the three. If they make their threes, there is no series. So that's what you need to bet on. If the Celtics show up and shoot well in the next 4 games, 5 games, whatever it's going to take, they will win the series. If they continue to do what they've done and they don't make threes, the Knicks are going to win. But the Celtics control their destiny here. Like that's the thing. The Knicks need the Celtics to collapse. They can't beat them straight up without a bad shooting night from Boston.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but again, the Knicks shot 29% from 3 last game. We're acting as if the Knicks are playing great, and they're not. Matter of fact, this last game was their least efficient. It was the Knicks' least efficient offensive game of the entire season, and they won.
The Celtics shot 36% from the field. Like they shot 25. Like the Knicks shot 29%. Celtics shot 25%. There's a lot more maybe they're not playing like that too, Grant, because the Boston Celtics have such great defenders. Like that's another thing.
Okay, but vice versa.
Yes,
OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are great defenders.
I agree, but the Celtics have missed so many threes. Like,
then make them.
What?
Then make them.
And make that. But that's all. That's what I'm saying. That's all they have to do. If they make their threes, they win. That's it. Simple as that. And that's how they play.
Well, we'll find out. I would expect the Celtics to win this next game. The Knicks are 5-0 on the road in the playoffs so far, which is kind of crazy. I would expect the Celtics to win. I'm not going to bet them -5 or whatever, just because I don't know. I don't trust them right now.
If the Celtics come into this game and win by 20 points, are you going to say they're going to win the series?
I wouldn't say they would win the series. No, I would say that didn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's the way it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember their wins in the regular season. I want to say were by 2, 13, 23, and 27.
Yeah. 2 at the end in April.
Yeah. And I think some of their guys were out. Like Jaylen Brown might have been out.
I think Knicks fans are a little too confident right now. You're still dealing with the defending champs. You're still dealing with You're dealing with the Pope, Tanner. I'm not dealing with the Pope. But that's crazy that they even started claiming them. You got the defending champs of the world who are now the underdog, and I think have had 3 days of hearing that they suck. Legacy game, Grant. This is a legacy moment for the Boston Celtics. We're going to talk about this series in 10 years from now. When the Celtics go on to win another championship, they were down 2-0 the Knicks. They walked in Madison Square Garden. They whooped that ass at Madison Square Garden. Not 1 game, but 2 games. They went back home in game 5, won that game, went on the road in game 6, maybe won, went to game 7, won a game 7 at home if they lost game 6. Or they just won 4 in a row.
We'll see.
We'll see. Anyways, do you think Knicks fans are a little too confident? Some of the video, they're a bunch of assholes.
It's just Knicks fans. They're like Eagles fans. It's
They're
just what they do.
They're worse than Eagles fans, I think, because the Eagles have been good. The Knicks haven't been good. Like, so now they get a little taste of being good. You beat the champs for 2 games. Now you start acting like you won the damn Super Bowl. They won anything.
It's because they're desperate. You know, they were starved for success for so long.
Yeah, at least the Eagles, like, they expect to win. They expect to be good. The Knicks are like, wow, we've won 2 games. Wait, we're the champs. I didn't know. Hey, I didn't know it was a 5-game series, pal. I thought we played 7 in 2025. All right.
You're rattled a little bit.
I'm not rattled. It's okay. If I'm putting myself, and again, I'm not 6'10" and can jump a country mile, right? But bottom line is, I've been listening to this shit for 3 days. Grant, I don't even love basketball. Okay. Like, this is not my main sport. Like, I live and die by the Red Sox. Like, this is not my main sport, but I've been sitting here listening to this shit for 3 days now. Okay. And I'm getting tired of it because I'm looking at all these Knicks fans jumping up and down like a bunch of freaking hooligans in Times Square and everywhere, honestly. And I'm watching, actually, the Celtics, you saw the fight outside TD Garden. Celtics kid beat the shit out of him. Like that, you ain't coming back to Boston, buddy. There was funny. There was one of the influencers in Boston, Green Runs Deep. He was like posting it, like, Knicks took a W and an L tonight. I'm like, man, probably guy's going to get arrested for this. But
yeah, definitely.
Probably he was throwing haymakers. Dude was down right on top. But anyways, I've been listening to this for 3 days. I'm angry. I've been listening to Kendrick Perkins for 3 days now. I'm angry, Grant. I'm not happy. You know, another thing, Perk, won a championship with the Celtics, right? I think the way he talks about Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I don't know if you agree with this, there's jealousy there. Like, there's jealousy in this Celtics class. Do you agree with that?
I'll be honest. I don't listen to enough Kendrick Perkins to know.
I just been listening to First Take past few days, and it's like he hates these guys. Like, I would think you'd be a little Boston homer, like you won a championship here. Like, be a little more like for the boys, like a Paul Pierce. But
okay, but I don't want that in my media. I don't
want hatred. I don't want clear hatred either.
Well, again, I haven't really been watching, so I don't know how he's talking about him.
So, Knicks fans, let's see what happens in Game 3 before we start, waving the white flag around here in Boston. I think Jayson Tatum, we're going to show up a little bit. I hope.
30 minutes on one game.
I mean, yeah, we got to fly through the other ones, but the other ones are pretty simple. I mean, the storyline right now is the Boston. Like, Cleveland, Indiana, nobody cares about that series. Cleveland's down 2-0. Nobody cares. You care about the Celtics because they're the balls.
It's because they're a big market.
It's a big market. Like, nobody cares about Cleveland, Indiana. I'm sorry. Okay.
Which they should, because it's the same thing. This is the first time in, I think there is no like official known date. I think it's just one of those. This is the first time in at least 30 years that 2 60-win teams find themselves down 2-0 in a series.
All right, well, let's talk about Draymond first, because this man should be fighting in the octagon, not on the basketball court. The move last night, and I didn't watch the game because I was like, I don't care. Like, Steph's not playing. Minnesota's going to win. I watched the highlights. Draymond literally threw a flying elbow at Naz Reid's head. Like, that wasn't a basketball move. I don't know what goes through his head. If he's like, I'm going to try to make a basketball move. It's like, oh, wait, it's not going to work. I'm going to elbow him, or I'm just trying to elbow him off the jump. But he's 2 technicals away from a suspension.
Yeah, and he probably, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. It was something happened in the Rockets game. I can't remember the exact incident, but there was like this whole controversy, like should have been a flagrant, should have been a technical. And I think it was something to do like, it clearly should have been one or the other. Again, I forget which one because there is a distinction between the two. But the whole reason for him not getting it, there was a controversy that basically like, if you give him the technical, then he's close to a suspension and he's probably going to get suspended, just knowing Draymond. Like, he'll probably get those last technicals he needs.
What is it? What's the suspension on that?
I think it's 3 techs in the playoffs and you miss a game.
Okay. So he's probably going to miss a game in the series if he gets 2 more.
Yeah, he could. I could be getting that wrong. I think it is 3 and you miss a game. But yeah, Draymond, he is who he is. Everybody knows who he is. He's one of the dirtiest players in the sport. And I'll address some of what he said after the game, which was he's in the locker room doing his little It wasn't a press conference. It was in the locker room, I think. And he said that he's tired of basically the media villainizing him and castigating him and making him look like the angry black man. And when you use that term, for anyone who doesn't know, the angry black man is essentially a term that is used to describe passionate black men who white people are intimidated by, and they say they're just angry and they're yelling out the time and they don't know what they're talking about. And it has a lot of racist origins behind it. So for Draymond to invoke that, he's saying that the media crowd, which in a national landscape is largely more white than black, is painting him as this uneducated savage with no manners who can't control himself. So that is what he is saying.
That's wild.
What we see on the court from Draymond Green is somebody who can't control himself. He gets more technicals than anybody. He is, if we just run through all the things he's done, he has eye gouged LeBron and James Harden. He's run over Ian Clark. He choked Rudy Gobert. He punched Yusuf Nurkic. He's hit Naz Reid. Just in the last round, he elbowed Alperen Şengün in the throat. He's kicked Steven Adams in the nuts. He has done all of these things, and he does it all the time. And the biggest thing for me is Steve Kerr. This was like a week or two ago. He said Draymond needs to do a better job of controlling his emotions. He has said that numerous times. They had to trade Jordan Poole off of the team because Draymond sucker punched him during practice. So Draymond, as he was saying all that, he also said that people make him out, or he said that I'm educated, I'm successful, I'm rich, and I'm great at basketball. All of that is true. So for the typical stereotype of the angry black man, that does not apply to him. But is he somebody who can't control himself legitimately? No, he cannot. We have seen that at nearly every turn in his basketball career. Did you know that the first shot Draymond ever made, he got a technical like 1 second later because of his celebration? The first shot in his NBA career. This is who he has been since the moment he stepped on the NBA court, and it's who he is today. He can't control himself. He is a dirty player, and everybody appears to know it except for Draymond.
Well, first off, the whole league's black. Like, let's paint it for what it is. Like, the whole league is black. Jayson Tatum's not being called angry black man. LeBron James isn't. Like, these stars are not being called the angry. Like, Luka's got a reputation for being white and fat. Like, people get their reputation off what they do. So I don't know if he believes this is like seeping into his personal life, like the education, bringing all that stuff up. But like for what we see on the court, you're a savage, like straight up. Like you're not playing the game.
He jumped on Domantas Sabonis's ribs.
I know. Like what do you expect people to call you, a nice man? Like what are you trying to do here? So I think it's if he just plays dirty. Maybe he's getting comments like off the basketball court. I'm not sure, but like he is angry. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's totally out of control. The fact that Steve Kerr enables it constantly. I think I talked about this on a recent show. Steve Kerr, I respect so much of the basketball mind he is and who he is off the court, but he just has this blind spot with Draymond. The thing about him saying Draymond needs to control his emotions is it's the most critical thing he's basically ever said about him. When they were chanting F you Draymond, Steve Kerr was like, there's no place for that in the sport, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's always there to protect him. And I don't know why Draymond was trying to cut himself as a sympathetic figure when you look at the actions that he does on the court. If this was any other guy, like if this was a bench player for the New Orleans Pelicans, Adam Silver would have suspended him personally by now. You know, the team probably would have cut him for all the trouble that he's caused. And I get that. You know, your value to a franchise means that they have to put up with more from you. But at a certain point, we got to look at this guy like you're 35 years old, however deep, 13, 15 years into your NBA career. When is this going to stop? Because if he does pick up that technical and he's suspended, let's look back at the 2016 finals when LeBron and Kyrie come back from that 3-1. What does everybody always say? Anybody who's a Warriors fan or a LeBron hater, they say it's because the NBA suspended Draymond, which I totally disagree with because LeBron dropped 41 the next game with Draymond there. Kyrie dropped 41 with Draymond there. But they always say that was the turning point in the series, Draymond getting suspended. What reason do we have to believe that let's say the Warriors make the finals this year. That's another 2.5 rounds of basketball. Draymond's going to get those technicals in that time, and he will be suspended. So at what point do we learn to control ourselves? There doesn't seem to have been that moment for him.
No, I totally agree with that, Grant. I mean, there's what else to say? He's a savage. He plays like a savage. He doesn't make basketball moves. He makes UFC moves. You're going to get a reputation for that. And he's probably going to get suspended. And this series is over if Steph Curry's not healthy. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, so I will say, I had the Warriors. I did not like this pick. I'll be completely honest. I did think the Warriors were going to cover the +10 just because what game one showed me was the defense they played in that first round could carry over into the second round. I wasn't sure it would. But then game two showed me maybe the Timberwolves, the whole rest versus rust debate. Hey, the Timberwolves just weren't ready for game one. Game two is what I would expect to see more times than not throughout this series. So, like you said, without Steph Curry, this team sucks. Like, this team sucked without Jimmy Butler. They're going to suck even harder without Steph Curry. So, yeah, if he doesn't play, this is going to be a 5-game series.
43% from three, Grant. Timberwolves are 17% from three in their past 2 playoff games. 43%. Big difference. Celtics in 6.
We're bringing this back to the Celtics.
Okay, so we got two more games to talk about, both tonight. Couple game 3s coming up. And by the way, the NBA scheduling is terrible. Like, they just don't do a good job with it. Like, some teams get 2 days between travel, some teams get 3 days to travel. Like, why did the Celtics and Knicks get 3 days to travel? Like, that game should be Friday night, in my opinion. You only got to go 4 hours down the road. So,
and it might be the Nuggets Thunder series, but I believe all of the first 5 games are just 1 day of rest between them,
which is an issue. Like, if you're given, and I get it, you want to make sure the big markets are positioned. Like Saturday 3:30, there's nothing bigger than that for a big market. And then you want the Steph on Saturday night, but still, I don't like it. Indiana versus Cleveland, Grant. This series is 2-0. Nobody's talking about it because of the Celtics series. I do think Cleveland will win game 3, but how do you feel coming into game 4? By the way, tickets for this game, $135 get-in price. Tickets for the Celtics Knicks game 3, $600 get-in price. So a little different.
Yeah, it's more expensive to get 1 ticket for that game than it is to fly to Indy, buy the ticket, and then fly home.
Family of 4 could go get popcorn and a couple hot dogs for the same price as 1 ticket to the Celtics Knicks.
So the Pacers are still only -184 favorites to win this series, which does surprise me. Now, beforehand, they were +3 something. They were +170 after game 1, down to, like I said, -184 after game 2. I think the Pacers will win the series. I thought they would be competitive before it even started. We talked about it. I had that series bet of +2.5 games. That's obviously already cashed. The Pacers have the 3rd best record in the entire NBA in this calendar year. So since New Year's Day, there's no reason for me to believe they won't be competitive. Do I think it's going to be a sweep? No. Like, I would expect the Cavaliers to come back at some point, but I do have to ask the question of what is going to be the catalyst. If, let's say that the 3 who missed last game, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, Darius Garland, let's say they're all back for this game. Are all 3 of them going to be 100%? No, probably not. So we're not going to get them at their best. The Cavs were controlling most of game 2, but just like so many of these teams have, they couldn't win in the decisive moments. And that's after the Pacers completely controlled game 1 on the road as 10-point underdogs. You know, the thing that I think the Cavs are really struggling with is they just can't keep up with the motion that the Pacers are playing with. I was looking at some numbers earlier. The Pacers in this series, it's only 2 games, but their offensive rating of 120 would have been the 2nd highest in the NBA during the regular season. Meanwhile, the Cavs scoring is way down. If you look at the the assist percentage, so the Pacers are getting assists on 66% of their buckets. The Cavs are getting them on 58%. So on one hand, they can't stop the ball movement that the Pacers have. And then on the other, they're just not creating open looks. That's how Donovan Mitchell scores 48 points and has 9 assists, and you still lose. So again, I expect the Cavs to fight back at some point. Think they'll win a game, maybe 2, maybe even 3, but I don't see how you can bet against the Pacers at this point.
I agree. I think Cavaliers injuries right now are just too much for them, and Pacers looked really good. And, you know, at least you had that first game where the Pacers did control the game. Like the Pacers were setting the tempo. Game 2 obviously found a way to come back, but they've won in multiple ways where you can say, hey, there's a chance they can dominate a Game 3 or a Game 4, or they can come back. Like that's the thing. Again, going back to Celtics, Knicks, like we haven't gotten that from the Knicks yet. We've gotten the comebacks, but in this series, we know the Pacers can set the tone and they can come back, which makes them a little more dangerous in my opinion.
And I think what's really impressive about the way that they're doing it is we've been led to believe that you need an MVP level player, a guy who can take over, drop 40 in a playoff game. That gives you the chance to become a championship contender. The Pacers don't have that. I was looking at their numbers and it's baffling. Their entire starting 5 in these playoffs is averaging between 16 and 18.5 points per game. The entire starting 5 is within 2.5 points of one another. And then their top 3 bench guys, Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, they're giving them another 28 points per game off the bench. So if the shots start not to fall, that's when you would say you need that MVP level guy to go get you a bucket. But on the other hand, if your offense is just so good and there's so much to account for that the other team can't get in front of you, you got nothing to worry about. And that's kind of where the Pacers are at right now. They're in that sweet spot.
Yep, definitely. Thunder versus Nuggets, Grant, last game here on the slate. Who are you looking at in this one, Game 3? I don't think Game 2 is going to be representative of what we see moving forward. I do think these games are going to be closer, even if Thunder pull it out.
Yeah, I don't think Game 2 is going to be representative at all. It was kind of what we should have expected. I'm going to be interested to see if the Nuggets are, like you were talking about, what we've seen from the Pacers, what we have not seen from the Knicks. I want to see here if that lower seed can control a game in the first half. I want to know if they can get out to that lead. Now, this is the first game in Denver. Denver's, Denver's home court advantage this year hasn't been as strong as it has been in years past, but at the same time, if they are going to get out to that early lead, you would assume it would be in front of their home fans. Now, Michael Porter Jr. is really diminished. He's got a shoulder injury that's popping up, so you're going to need to continue to play Russell Westbrook heavy minutes. He has had his moments in these playoffs, so credit to him where it is due. I don't think the Thunder, I know they have a very efficient offense, and I know they show that in Game 2. Don't expect them to play like that. I still think they are a more complete team than the Nuggets. But as I said before Game 2, which of course the Nuggets got blown out in, I said if I'm looking at the Nuggets' top 6 guys, I feel pretty much the same about them as I do the Thunder's top 6. So I'm looking at a spread of plus 5.5 points here. I think this can be a close game. I wouldn't bet the Nuggets money line, but I think there is a very real chance they do win. So at plus 5.5, that's probably where I would be leaning there.
I think you need to see a lot of guys step up for the Nuggets. Like the Jokic takeover game needs to happen, but they need a lot of help in the supporting cast, because seeing Game 2, how that went, again, I don't think that's going to be indicative of the series, but the Thunder are so strong. Like they are clearly the best team in the West. And, we've talked about the difference between a regular season team versus a playoff team. They have all the capabilities to go on to win a championship, but the Nuggets, there's just less room for air for them. So you need Jokic to take over, but you also need Aaron Gordon. Like you need these other dudes on the team just to step up and be great. And if you don't get that, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Gordon, he has been stepping up throughout these playoffs. Jamal Murray hasn't kind of consistently been there, but it is Jamal Murray. This is one of the biggest playoff risers in NBA history. So you got to assume that is coming as well. So no, I agree with what you said, but I think it is possible. I don't think it's an impossible.
Yeah, definitely. How about this, Grant? I got a good question for you. Do you think the Nuggets have a better chance to win this series, or do you think the Warriors have a better chance to win their series?
Oh, Nuggets, not even close. I thought you were going to ask me about the Knicks.
Well, no, I mean, I knew I was trying to throw you off there a little bit because we already know what's happened. That the Celtics are winning that series. I'm not concerned, but I just wanted to throw you off a little bit.
No, I mean, I took the Timberwolves in 5 before Steph Curry got hurt. I didn't expect them to lose Game 1, but I was that confident in the Wolves, and Steph's injury only cements that.
I think that'll go 6. I think that series goes 6.
I need to, when we get off of here. So I bet the Timberwolves at -1.5 games before the series started. When we get off of here, I want to go look at what that cash out offer is, because At 1-1, it would be normally it would be lower than what I placed the bet for because they've got to win 3 of the next 4. But with Steph's injury factored in, I want to see if they're going to offer me a profit or not.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll see. I mean, he's supposed to miss a week?
He's guaranteed out for games 2, 3, and 4.
That's brutal. They got no chance. Yeah. Well, anyways, that was Ride the Line. Little Boston Celtics edition today. Season 6, Season 7, if that's what we need. And that was the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment.
Yeah, it was another good show. We got a loaded weekend ahead of us. So, guys, if you want to be involved when Tanner and I get back next week and we talk about it all, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Jump in the comments. Let us know where do you weigh in on this Celtics-Knicks debate. And we will see you all in the next episode of Ride the Line. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.